Hi everyone, thanks for joining. Today I'm going to be doing a cold process soap recipe. I am going to share the full recipe, so if you want measurements and everything like that, just kind of watch the video and we'll go through that as we make it. Today I'm going to be making a eucalyptus type soap. I'm actually using an essential oil for this. Everything in the soap recipe is going to be 100% natural, including the colorants. So the first step we're doing is just measuring out the lye water solution, and we're making sure everything mixes really well, and I'm trying to keep the water as clear as I can. I'm trying to include as much instruction in this video in case you are a new soap maker, but if I forget something and you have a question, don't forget to leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer it as soon as I can. So you measure out your water first and then you measure out the lye. So this is me just showing you once that lye was all the way melted, it kind of turns clear again, and then I was just adding a few more spoons at a time until we went through the whole lye water solution. I kind of just keep that set off to the side while I measure out my oils and just add a tablespoon or so, or a spoonful or so of the lye crystals to the water as I measure out my oils. So for this recipe, we're only using 4 oils. We are using olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, and sweet almond oil. This will be a nice recipe if you decide to use this for, this recipe or something else. It should give you enough time to do designs and swirls. It is a slower trace recipe if that is something you are looking for. I don't have filming all the different oils. I kind of forgot to turn the camera on sometimes, so I just kind of put the measurements in there as we go along. Okay, so I talked about how I wanted to keep this soap all natural. So I'm also going to use natural colorants for this recipe. I'm going to be using kaolin clay. And if you haven't used it before, it is a nice ingredient to add to your soap because it will kind of help with like a light exfoliator. It's also thought to kind of help hold fragrance oils. I don't know if that's true. I've heard a lot of other soap makers say that, but from my experience, I haven't noticed much difference. But anyway, it will kind of pull away like any dead skin you might have on your, like if you want to use this for a facial bar or something, and it's a nice way to exfoliate it. It'll help open up your pores, and it kind of makes your skin feel a little bit softer. That's just from my personal experience. I also just add the tiniest bit of water to the clays when I'm adding clays to my soap. That's just to make sure that it gets to like a paste-like consistency, because if you don't do this, you're going to notice that like the clay is going to pull the water from your soap recipe. So if you're using like the same recipe, let's say you used a different recipe that you always use and you're adding clay, you're going to notice that like the bar may shrink a little bit, or it just may not seem like it how your recipe normally performs. The other clay that I'm using for this recipe is the French green clay, and I'm doing the same prep work for that. It also helps unclog your pores, wash away dirt, or remove dead skin. Great for acne prone skin as well. I'm also going to add just a tiny bit of sodium lactate because I was worried about this recipe being a little bit soft. You can kind of use this as you want. This is totally optional. I don't put this in all my soap recipes. I was just hoping to get the bars of soap to harden a little bit quicker with this recipe because it tends to be more of a slow trace recipe. The fragrance oil that I'm using is eucalyptus oil. I got mine from Crafter's Choice. You can get essential oil anywhere you want. I used the full 2 ounces for this soap. I'm also making sure that my temps kind of get down to at or around about 115 for both the oils and the lye water solution, because when it's down towards 115, it does perform better. It's a slower trace. That's just what I like to soap at. Normally I just do room temperature and I don't even use a heat gun, but for the purposes of the tutorial I just wanted to show you guys that because some people do ask. So I did just go ahead and mix this like normal. I got the soap to a light trace and I kind of just got it to the right consistency, and then I'm not actually using the stick blender to mix the essential oil. I kind of just don't turn the blender on, I just kind of whip it around. When I mix it with the clays though, I am actually using the stick blender because I want to make sure the clays are mixed in really well. And you'll see when I cut this, I was having a little bit of trouble with the French green clay, like fully mixing in. And you can see that on the final one, and I kind of use the spatula a little bit to try to mix it up. But again, you'll see it on the final cut. And I just kind of poured these side by side. I was going to do a swirly design, but I decided not to. And this is the soap a couple days later after I popped it out of the mold. It was still a tad bit soft, but it was hard enough for me to cut it. Overall, I think this soap came out pretty beautiful. Like I said, this would be perfect for like a facial bar. The size of the bars are a little bit smaller. They're square shape, and I did that way intentionally, just so that it wouldn't like overflow the mold and that they would be like a nice size in your hand, because I plan on using these as a facial soap bar. So if you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to make cold process soap, go ahead and check out some of my other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do a lot of cold process and melt and pour soap videos on this channel, as well as some other recipes for bath and body like tutorials.